So it's a particular delight today, to introduce our keynote speaker at CAS, who epitomises what is great about good business schools, who are a hub for generating business intelligence and to getting people to think about business intelligently. And Erich certainly has some intelligent thoughts and views on business. Part of this stems from his university positions, which is held in the US and Europe, at world-leading business schools such as University of Southern California and ISA in Barcelona. As a result of this intelligent thinking, as you probably know, he's authored nearly 60 articles and is a co-author of Brand Leadership, the next level of the brand revolution, with David Acker, which incidentally has been translated into 14 different languages and is considered a groundbreaking discussion on recent developments in brand strategy. In fact, Eric has spent 25 years investigating why some innovations, business strategies, marketing and brand tactics take its form, and some miss the mark. And whilst pursuing these next questions, with his academic head, we have this discussion about rigour and relevance. Eric's work exemplifies wonderfully both rigour in thinking and relevance in practical application. Indeed, Erich walks the tightrope between rigour and relevance with all the skill and agility of a Cirque du Soleil acrobat. In his most recent book, Hidden in Plain Sight, the business intelligent thinking about business is so profound that it actually won the American Marketing Association Berry 2008 award for the best book of the year. It has already been translated into 9 languages. When looking at Erich and his career, I'm reminded of that Victor Hugo quote, which says that no army can withstand the strength of an idea whose time has come. And here today, to give us some insights into these new ideas, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium the founder and CEO of Vivaldi Partners, Erich Joachimsthaler.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Good morning. I have one of the easiest tasks, in fact. All I have to do is introduce the day, some subject matters, some thoughts that the speakers after me will delve into much more deeply and much more thoroughly and with much more competence than actually I have to demonstrate here. So, and then at the end of the day, I will be again, I think, on one of the panels where I just have to summarize what everybody has said in any way. So thank you very much for giving me so much time. I also always say that one of the nicest things about having grown old now is that I tend to be more often at the beginning of the speeches, of the days, rather than the end. So I can take as much time as I want, and them, and at the end of the day, will be shortcut on his particular speech. So anyway, all I have is I have 3 thoughts, which I thought was in the realm of the new role or the new world of marketing. How we rethink right now marketing, in particular global branding. And I start with a little introduction, and then I go on with that. Okay? One thing that I found that really knocked me a bit around was a book by these gentlemen, John Gersimer and Ed Lebar, who have studied a huge number of brands, global brands, for I think about 20-some years. And they have studied the fundamental questions: do you trust brands? The result here is that in the last 10 years, brands tended to lose their trustworthiness with consumers to a very significant degree, almost by half, as you can see here. So I thought that was a very important fact, and it says, is this a motivation to really think about or rethink, how we build brands? And I think if I were to walk through the room today and walk out today out of that door and say, I ought to come back with some ideas that Daryl speakers have brought together, some ideas of how to rethink of how we build strong brands. So I think here's a good reason why. This is another study I found that studied the brands that are out there right now in terms of a huge number. I think it's the largest database of brands that study the brands in terms of two dimensions. One is how relevant the brands are and how differentiated the brands are. You see sort of each one of these plots being, or dots, if you will, being one particular brand. What I thought was interesting is if you put in the midpoint a cross and you get a classic 2x2, you can see an important insight. And that is that most brands are either not differentiated or not relevant, or both, not differentiated and not relevant. And very few, in fact, if you see up here on the top right, are actually meaningfully differentiated in the marketplace. So I said, how is it that in 20-some years we have spent, writing books, laboring, consulting projects after consulting projects in this quest of trying to achieve this most fundamental principle of branding, of building global brands, namely to differentiate. If this is in fact the result, there has got to be some of us here that say we need to rethink how we try to achieve differentiation. And otherwise, we are trying to do something that really doesn't make any a lot of, I'll go backward, sense here. So what's the main disease? The main disease is a lot of sameness. I'm one of those guys. This is the people in my company that have written books after books about the principles of differentiation and how to achieve it. And we are working. So I don't want to exclude myself from the whole game, but we are trying to rewrite some of these things now because we have to find new ways to make it happen in the marketplace. I thought this was a good quote, almost as good as yours, Vince. The definition of insanity is doing the things over and over again, expecting different results. So my thesis for the role of the new world of branding